All right, tell us what we're about to dig into right
All
here.
right, so this one here, the one that's long ways, is my favorite. This is what I prefer how to cook, just Texas style barbecue. No sauce, no sweetness, no. It's just straight seasoning and wood.
All right, you got to set up this. So this one.
Yeah, so this one, the long one right here.
Okay.
That's why I put it that way.
Okay.
So if you, even if you like roll them over, you'll see the difference. One's shiny and one's kind of matted looking.
Oh yeah, okay.
You know.
I see.
So you said the matted one is just straight.
The matted one is just salt, pepper, garlic powder, and onion.
My mouth is watering now already.
The other one
The other one is what I call competition style.
Okay.
It's what people look for, and when they think ribs, this is what they look for.
Okay.
Which is
I just eat.
It's pretty much the same foundation: salt, pepper, onion, garlic, but it's sweet. Light brown sugar, honey. So this is
more lasting flavor.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's more of that type of thing. It's like a first impression type of thing.
Right.
When I bite into it, oh man, that was so good.
Dude, just the grease out of it is really good.
So
I just like the grease.
So I mean, when we compete and stuff like that is what we do. I mean, there's so many variables that we get judged on. From the smoke ring. The pink that you see inside. That's not raw. That's smoke. Okay, man, that's how they know they did this right.
Okay.
So they can squeeze it and see the juiciness come out of it.
How many layers to the judging? Would you say like 20 things?
I mean, I would say most of the time they go off of about 5 or 6. Appearance. How does it first look when they look at it?
Okay.
Is it tender? A lot of people have the misconception that if the bone can fall right out, that, oh man, those are great.
Right. That's what I thought.
But in the competition style, if the bone falls right out, they're overdone. Like that's trash.
Oh.
So if you look, take a bite of it. If you take a bite and you kind of gotta, so going off of that, if you gotta kind of pull a little bit, that's right where you want it.
Okay.
So when you bite into it, you want to be able to leave your teeth marks in it.
Okay.
So that's how they know, like, oh.
Do they literally do that? Like just bite?
I don't. We don't get to see, when they judge.
Okay.
No names are on the containers, nothing like that.
Okay.
So you kind of want to have to pull it a little bit.
That flavor, man, and this is the one that's just your.
Same here.
Man.
So you taste, the salt. You taste the pepper. What hurts me is I'm a pepper freak.
Okay.
I like the heat from the pepper.
It hurts you in what sense?
Like you want to put more?
I always want to put more than what I like pepper. So if it doesn't have a pepper taste, I feel like it's bland.
Okay. Does that hurt you with judging?
Man.
No, because it's 2 different styles.
Okay.
And when we do competitions, my meat category is ribs.
Okay.
My other teammates, Daniel Anderson, he does the brisket.
Wait. So how many teammates do you have with all-nighters?
It all depends, with work and our professional lives, it kind of always shifts.
Depends on each event.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's available?
Okay.
Me and Daniel are normally always the ones that are there. My brother-in-law Keith Martinez.
Is Daniel the one with the science?
Yeah, he's the one with the science.
Okay.
And he's doing brisket.
Yeah, he does brisket.
Okay.
Is
that harder, do you think?
I mean, it is because it's a different type of meat. Pork it can dry out really easy.
Okay.
It's quicker. This is to kind of make sense of it. Ribs is like a sprint. It's like the 100-yard dash.
Okay.
It's 5 hours, if that. Brisket is 10 to 12 hours.
I was about to say,
it's more of a cross country.
My brother-in-law, he's picked it up as a hobby, and he's talking about 10 plus hours. And
yeah.
I mean, you got to really like to do it.
You really got to understand what you're doing to really. So
brisket.
Yeah, with brisket. Well, I mean, with just smoking in general.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's where a lot of people miss. I cook all the time. Man, what do you cook with? Charcoal. Okay, that's.
Yeah. I mean,
that's cute, bro.
So that's.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm used to. So I feel like I'm like nobody to y'all.
I mean, it's not even that.
Even as a female.
Everybody starts somewhere.
Right.
I've had propane pits, which I cannot stand.
Really?
Because that's to me, if I use a propane pit, I might as well cook inside.
Yeah.
That's true. That is the I think that's right.
How do y'all feel? How do y'all both feel about these new electric smokers? The one that shoot the little pebbles
That's
or
true.
pellets?
I remember when I used to bake cupcakes and stuff like that. The outdoor
Wait, what do
ovens.
they do?
I'm always gonna be. I was raised the old way.
OG.
I was telling, it's so different because my dad, the same way, he said, "Oh, do this, do that." My dad was that way, and we were just talking about that the other day. And my dad said, "Go cut that tree right there, get that branch." I said, "Dad, that's not that. It's just get it." So
Yeah.
my dad, he didn't care what you used. He used it.
Yeah.
He made it work.
And we're still alive, so I guess he was doing it.
Yeah.
And now that I do, when I started, it was, like I said, I'm up at Mesquite, Pecan, and now I go back to what he uses because so far with the oak, it's great.
Yeah.
Right.
My other experiences, I've used oak before, never had a problem, but that one experience, I said, "Oh no, I'll never go back to oak." So now I do. Because
What was that experience like? What was that? What was so
it
bad
was
about
terrible
it?
because it was like I had to throw everything away. I mean, the chicken, the sausage, everything.
But what
I
was it
cooked.
with the oak that?
It was too everything. This was brown. I mean black. It was just a nasty smoke,
Okay.
black.
It's almost like a film. And
I
you
see.
taste the burntness of it. You don't get the flavor of
I've
anything.
had bad fajitas, so I think I can relate. No, I mean,
To go back to what you were asking
grew
about,
up with that.
there's new pits, they're pits,
Yeah.
and they're
Pits.
pretty much a conveyor belt of pellets.
So the pellets, they look like they look like
They look like rat.
yeah,
Really?
yeah.
It's a cool concept. It's science. It's a whole science aspect of
Wait,
it.
is it part of the grill?
You just set it's like
No,
a firebox.
It's a fire.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you just pour these pellets, like a bag of pellets, and they heat up, and it gives off the smoke flavor.
Oh, so
So
it's artificial smoke.
Yeah, pretty much. So what we have to
That's
do,
good,
we have to
like-
do it manually,
Yeah.
Right.
right? So this thing has a knob and says, "Hey, I need it at 250." You turn that knob to 250,
And right
and
away.
it maintains it right there at 250.
It'll automatically keep that
the pellets going.
when it senses the temperature drop, it'll start feeding it pellets.
Yeah.
Until it gets to that temperature and then stop. It stops feeding it.
Okay.
And it works. Not to knock
Yeah,
it because it's its own thing.
It's to each their own type
Yeah.
of thing.
And that's one that, like I said, propane. You'll never catch me. I gave mine away.
Yeah.
They gave them to me. I gave them away. It's like, oh, I can't use it.
As a female, it was easier to cook on propane.
Yeah.
But I get why you wouldn't like it because it's very, like you said, you might as well just cook on the stove
It's
Yeah.
like, oh no.
in the oven.
It just goes back to everybody has their own, I guess, style of it,
or,
you know.
Or
It's not.
preference of flavor.
Yeah, it's not. It's not to say that hey, we're better because we use this, or
Right.
we're better because you don't use this.
It's how you use that style.
Yeah, it's basically how you use the tools to get what you want.
Right.
Because if there's a show on TV right now with world-class barbecuers, this one dude made it all the way to the finals using a pellet cooker.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Really.
Oh shit!
Really.
No, I thought he was putting a scenario, but
no.
you're talking about this really happened. Holy
These
shit.
are pro people. Like this is their 9 to 5. They cook barbecue. They have established businesses using these tools.
I see what you're saying though. To each their own. Because like for example, hunting, and I might get some heat for it or whatever. But like to me, I respect a hunter that hunts using a bow and arrow more than somebody with a rifle. Like I'm not knocking either one because obviously you need accuracy
And you need skills
on either
in
one.
either
But
one.
if you're sitting in a tree with completely silence for days and you just have a bow and arrow, it's like damn, that's some hardcore shit right there.
Yeah, and going back to that TV show, they threw a curveball in the finals to win, I think, like $50,000. They didn't get to use their own smokers.
Oh wow.
This brand, called Lang, barbecue pits, these smokers. That's what they had to use for their competition. And the guy that had the pellet smoker didn't even know how to start it. He's like, where do I put the wood? How do I maintain it? Like,
Where are the pellets?
Yeah, and I died laughing because there's a part in the episode and they're interviewing him. It's like 2:30 in the morning. He's like, the cameraman's like, well, how are you doing right now? Well, for lack of sleep and that I have to figure out how to use this thing, I guess I'm doing all right.
Man.
Yeah.
So the time management.
I'm gonna be millennial real quick. I'm gonna take a selfie. while we're doing this.
Dude, I've never licked meat off of bones. There we go.
All right, so that first one is my preference.
Okay.
I'm sorry, my preference on what I like.
That's what I just finished, man.
So it's just basic.
Look at this.
You know, it's just
The
basic.
seasoning makes it because I've never had to lick a bone, but the seasoning, I'm licking the bone.
It's good, man. Like
Flavor of it.
So
it touches base on I mean, you know, respect to the lady and everything. Like my dad, like he was no smoker, he was no cook. My dad passed when I was 15. Like no bullshit. This reminded me of my dad because that's how he cooked. He cooked just salt and pepper.
yeah,
That's it.
and
Honestly, like that's badass. Like that reminded me of my pops.
you know,
Like, that's
and
crazy.
like I said, going back to it, I mean, it's emotions and moments like that keep me going.
The
You know,
simplicity
and
of
I appreciate that, and that goes so much further than any amount of money that I could ever make on this. It's times like that where I can sit back and say, hey, man, I touched this person.
Right.
You know, and stuff like that. So
Just ever saying that, and then I took a bite of this. Sorry, Dad. This is good too.
you know,
This is, oh my God.
you know, so okay, so
Wait for me.
you'll hear the wait for you. He doesn't finish his whole plate.
I'm just gonna wait for you to talk about
You
it.
know,
and then
so-
I want to taste what he's talking about.
So going back to to everything, you all have your preference. You know,
I see what the difference immediately right now. What you're talking about, like the other one you could bite and let go. This one you kind of bite and it's already falling off. Almost.
Almost,
Not
yeah.
fully falling off, but it's.
and that's where you have to figure out. You know, when you're cooking, you know,
Sometimes. Oh yeah. I mean,
What outcome do you want?
what outcome do you want, and it all depends on how your wood is. You know, so
wow.
What's the best way I can get with this wood?
you don't know
Right.
until you throwing it in there. You know, you don't know, and it goes back to my fraternity brother Daniel on. He logs all these things, so you know. So okay, are we gonna spend another $100 on wood for our next competition at the same place, or are we gonna go try to look for something else? You know, there's a lot of behind the scenes to each competition. We prepare, we do trial and error.
So do y'all have a stash of wood, like in case, like?
Not a stash. Like if we know we have a competition coming up, we'll go buy some.
Okay.
And for the next week or 2, 3 weeks, we'll cook 2 or 3 times, and we'll do the whole spill and the run how we are gonna do it that
So
day.
are you, for example, if you're doing a competition, are you testing the wood that you're gonna use?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Like I said, we'll do trial and error 2, 3 weeks in advance every week
Wow.
to make sure.
The family benefits from it, the softball team benefits from it.
I mean-
benefits from those trial runs.
Like I said,
Because if you need fucking testers.
Yeah, we're trying to find out. You're
Hey.
saying, let us know.
so
We'll guinea pig the shit out of it.
so
Bring the cameras fully loaded.
So last night or Friday night I cooked. You know, I had some side orders to do. I cooked and I bought an extra slab of ribs because again, ribs is my thing when it comes to competition.
Okay.
So any chance I get to cook ribs, I cook like I'm gonna do in a competition.
Okay.
You know. Going back to when we first opened up, I don't eat barbecue. I cannot stand barbecue. I'm eating
That's
this.
crazy.
I was shocked on that.
I'm doing this just
Yeah.
because, you know, what we got going on.
You love it.
Yeah, I
You
enjoy
love
what
doing
I
it, you don't love eating.
do.
Well, you can't.
know.
Like, again, it goes back to where you can't. You're on top of that pit, smelling that smoke.
Yeah.
So you sure don't want to eat that. And
That's true.
It's like a donut shop owner not wanting to have donuts.
Yeah.
if I went to somebody's house and never cooked it, I thought that was the best part.
Oh, it is.
Right.
It is.
I'm not cooking.
So you could be this could be the first time you ever cook, and to me, it's gonna taste amazing because
Right.
it's a different taste. It's a different flavor.
We got an interesting question coming up that we ask every interviewer.
Okay.
About that. We'll touch base on it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Go ahead and bite that one.
Yeah. Okay.
I already did it.
So this
Oh
is,
shit! I already finished. I'm sorry.
No, he did this.
So
He was having-
this
thank
is
you,
our
thank
this
you.
is our competition style
Okay.
ribs. This is what
which is more honey, more elastic flavor.
Yeah, it's honey, it's brown sugar, it's a sweet note to counteract
I waited.
that spice of the pepper that I like. You know.
You gonna finish that?
Yeah, yes I am. Okay. It is more tender. Okay.
So
More honey.
So I mean, you get the sweet notes of it. It's kind of like
It is.
it hits you in different levels. Like
Yeah.
when you first touch, it's like, oh, it's sweet, and then After you chew it and you swallow it, it's like, oh, I get the pepper, I get the flavor of it. And that's what the competition is about. It's that lasting impression. Man, that rib right there, that rib was the one. When you look at it, does it have a shine to it? Does it have a redness to it? There's so many things that they take into effect. Color, bite, flavor, everything. There's so much that goes into, competition cooking.
It's good, man. You can tell that you put, like you said, it's not just a 9 to 5 type of mentality to it, because you can taste the passion of it. And I mean, it starts from the foundation, and of course you took whatever he taught you, built from that.
Made it your own.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. That's like literally some of the best barbecue, some of the best ribs I've had.
Yeah, I mean, and
sorry, Cuñado, you got beat.
And it,
on record.
And I'm not the type that likes to toot my own horn. Like, I'm a very modest person when it comes to playing softball, when it comes to barbecuing. I always said there's something better out there. What I do is how I do it. Somebody else might make it better. I don't knock it. I don't knock anybody else on what they do. But it goes back to, if I have a choice to have barbecue, I'm gonna go to somebody's backyard. I'm not gonna go to the commercial. Like, you can tell me right now that you will never find something like this in a commercial kitchen.